Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today's guest is Matthew Chavira, and he's CEO over at Profits of AI. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. Fantastic. So for everybody listening, this episode is part of our Milken Institute Global Conference coverage. So 2025, hard to believe we've been covering the conference now for about 4 years, and I have a lot of fun. We always get the best interviews from there. And Matthew was in attendance and participating. So just get us kicked off here, Matthew. How was the conference for you this year?
Oh, the conference is nothing short of amazing. Milken really excels. I mean, without going in too much of the weeds right off the bat, I'm in the events industry, basically. So that's a big aspect of what I do is I curate content for the world's largest conferences. And though I didn't curate any content this year for Milken, I can confidently say how amazing of a job that they do in bringing the brightest minds, the most intelligent people, relatable people to their stages and just like inspire a conference of people who want to learn more and ask questions and hear what the latest news is shaping global conversations.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit further into what you're working on right now. So talk to me about Profits of AI.
Yeah, sure. So I have started a representation agency for influential people, very influential people in the artificial intelligence industry. In fact, that's literally a title of some of the people of the individuals, the caliber of the individuals that I represent. I represent individuals featured on Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in artificial intelligence. So I connect these individuals who come on board with conferences and businesses interested in hearing the latest developments of how this field is affecting society at large and their industries specifically.
What gave you the idea for this? Like, how did you get involved with this? This is a really interesting concept. When I saw exactly what you're doing, I'm like, man, that sounds, it's different, it's special. Like, how'd you come up with this?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, let's bring it back to Milken because I joined the company Hanson Robotics, which is the manufacturers of one of the world's most famous humanoid robots, Sophia. I joined this company back in 2017, shortly after Sophia's announcement at South by Southwest. We're on Valentine's Day, so she's a product of love, and this robot ever since has been invited to over 100 countries globally. And to bring it into the Milken conference, shortly after I joined the company, the first appearance agreement that I ever did was with Milken for their Asia series, and they brought Sophia on board. So, everyone here listening is familiar with Milken, the types of innovative thinking that they want to curate the content for their own stages. And that's, in summary, very related to what this experience working with this robot has brought me. I've worked with conferences the world over, some of the world's largest event producers, very influential industries, and I've brought this robot to their stages all over the world. And in that work, over now a decade, I also met the other individuals who were on those same stages as Sophia, who were being invited because of their perspectives on artificial intelligence, on its role in society, where it's heading, where we're going, where we've been, all of that stuff. And that kind of set the foundation for me to take this client list of the world's largest conference producers and the people shaping this industry as a whole and represent them all under one roof, so to speak, so that all sorts of organizations can learn from these experiences, the hard work that these producers have put in to curate this content for their own stages.
So a lot of different, why focus on AI only? It's interesting to me. I like it, but I like the niche. So you've become really the agency that's kind of like go-to, right?
Yeah, well, that's certainly our aim. And why AI? Well, because there are so many different types of industries out there, especially in this field, like, industries that connect businesses and conferences with speakers, right? But artificial intelligence is another thing entirely. I mean, in some regards, we're talking about the creation of a new life form, a thinking entity on this planet. Like, we're very much heading there. We're heading towards AGI. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So we are going to share the planet with another entity that far exceeds our intellectual capacity and our ability to reason. So this is so far beyond the need of just like connecting people with an engaging speaker for their conference. This is foundational to what it means to be a human. So I have always started this company as a access point, as a resource for businesses to help flesh out their own policy, their own way that they're positioning their company, or even just for insights into like where this technology is heading, and hear that from like very qualified individuals around the world.
Wow, it's interesting to see what kind of, like, because you're in the middle of this, and you're not only in the middle of this in terms of the people that you're helping and that you're booking and the conferences, but you have a unique vantage point. What kind of trends in AI or in general are you following? Like, what excites you?
Well, I frequently bring up this point. So you may or may not have heard of a woman. Her name is Allie K. Miller. She's a prolific online presence, a prolific LinkedIn presence for artificial intelligence. I think that she's one of the most followed people on LinkedIn, and she's an AI expert. She talks about like where the world's heading, and even she says, Allie K. Miller, who's by far a very qualified expert in the field, that even she gets very confused on this industry, and it finds it hard to keep up because it seems that every single day, every single week, there's something new that just is like groundbreaking, foundational, and so for me, how that shows up is, of course, trying to stay on top of these trends. I'm obviously drawn towards its application towards the humanoid robotic space because that's something that very much interests me because of my connection with the industry as a whole. But the beauty of running such a company that represents now 50 individuals and well on its way to being over 100 by the end of the year, and growing, is that you can represent this many people in artificial intelligence and no two speakers are exactly alike. Like, it shows up in so many nuanced ways because it touches every aspect of society. Really, it does. And the people who are creatively applying the technology to benefit their ecosystem, benefit their communities, is nothing short of inspiring and amazing. And despite it being artificial intelligence, it very much is a human technology. That is something that I've come to learn and appreciate. And I think that this is most exemplified by the work of artists. So I'm partially drawn to the work of AI artists because they occupy a unique role. I think that artists, a way to conceptualize, I think, for your listeners, the role of the artist is throughout history, they have been this bridge between the latest scientific advancements and the means by which we communicate the value and the utility of these advancements to the masses. So you can trace like different scientific breakthroughs with different movements in art. Right. And this, we can give like really nuanced examples, but in modern day, I think that shows up in really incredible ways. Like artists who are using AI technology to communicate and acquaint people with the role it's playing in society is really amazing. And I've been truly blown away by some of the work. And shout out to Sue Gwen Chung and Stephanie Dinkins, both of whom I represent, who are doing some incredible work in that space.
So for some context for everybody listening, we're in May of 2025. What's on the agenda? Like, what's next for you? What's next for Prophets of AI?
Yeah, sure. So I just got back from hosting a very large AI conference called AI Week in Milan, Italy. And it's so big that they couldn't hold it actually in Milan itself. They had to hold it outside of the city in a huge conference center, kind of where there's nothing really around except for that conference center. But I actually hosted one of the main stages there. And what was great, what was amazing is I actually got to bring along and introduce onto the stage, in addition to the other individuals who were there, who were presenting, someone who I actually have the privilege of representing. So this dynamic of hosting the stage, but also bringing onto the stage, welcoming onto the stage someone who I actively represent is always really amazing. It's great. It's really engaging new kind of format for audiences to hear and witness. So I'm focusing more on that. I'm trying to curate more content that aligns with that goal. And I'm doing that currently and have several plans underway to do that with conferences all over the world.
Fantastic. What a great story. Happy to bring this to my audience. Matthew, if somebody wants to follow up, they want to learn more about your work and to connect, how do they do that?
The best way, the absolute best way is, of course, LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active. Please find me, Matthew Chavira, Chavira, on LinkedIn. Reach out, say hello, and try to learn more about AI. I think it's super important that everyone does.
I love it. You and me both. Perfect. That being said, and for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put those links in the show notes so you can connect with Matthew for sure. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Matthew, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.